Hartsock just read a really awesome book called The Important Book. And in The Important Book, what do they talk about?
Important things.
The important things. Who can think of something that they feel is important for ACT? Sarvesh.
Like, you are you, that part. The last page when it said you are you.
Ooh, you think that maybe is important for ACT? You or you? Okay. Molly?
That you learn.
That you learn. Ooh, anything else that you can think about that's important for ACT? Every time you come here, what do you think is important?
Using your own mind.
Using your own mind. Okay.
Reading the ACT agenda.
Reading the ACT agenda. I think all of those things are important. Joe, I like that quiet hand.
Checking out, like checking in.
Ooh, checking in to make sure that we know that you're here. Okay. Following directions. These are all great ideas. So, sounds like you guys kind of have a good understanding of what's important for ACT. Now, let me ask you a question. When you came in, if you read the ACT agenda, you maybe saw something that may have made you go, huh, I don't know about that. What was on the ACT agenda for us to do today?
Check in and put your luggage under a chair, take a seat on the carpet, and bring wigs and activity.
Everything sounded really normal until you got to that last part. Right?
Yeah.
Wigs. We're wearing wigs in ACT today?
No.
That's what it says on the ACT agenda. Right? Big wigs in ACT. Oh my gosh, are there wigs in those lockers? Are we going to wear wigs? No?
All of the letters from the wig stand for something.
You paid very close attention to the agenda. Can you say that a little bit louder so everyone can hear?
There's something telling you something of each kind of letter.
What was the clue that told you that each one of those letters stood for something?
The dot.
The periods that were in between, those dots were in between the letters. When you see that, that usually means that that's a shortcut way of writing something, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Yes.
It's called an abbreviation.
It's called abbreviation. My goodness, you guys are just teaching me all kinds of things today. I tell you what. Yes.
Last year, I was at MECC. It stands for Mason Elementary Childhood School.
You're very, very close.
Childhood Center.
You're very close. Yes.
Mason Elementary Childhood Center.
Absolutely. So that's just like an abbreviation too. And I'm glad that you caught on to that we really weren't wearing wigs today, because it probably would have been fun to walk in and we all had on wigs, right? I told the last class that Mrs. Kite was going to go down in her basement and dig up an old wig from Halloween from way back when, but I couldn't find it. That probably would have been fun, right? You probably would have just thought, oh, Mrs. Kite, she changed her hair again. You probably wouldn't even blink an eye at me. So today you are going to be working on your own big wigs. Let me tell you what WIG stands for. It stands for Wildly Important Goal. Wildly Important Goal. Say it with me.
Wildly important goal.
Oh, you know what? I taught you guys this yesterday, right? Mirror.
Mirror.
Love it. WIG stands for
Stands for
Wildly Important Goal.
wildly important goal.
Now listen to what I want you to do. I want you, when I tell you to teach, you're going to turn to your partner and you're going to tell them what WIG stands for. Teach.
Okay. Wildly important.
Mason.
Comments.
I forgot all about that. I taught you the mirror. Oh, were you still teaching?
Yeah.
Okay, quickly finish up. All right. So it stands for Wildly Important Goal. Okay, everyone else eyes this way. They're still teaching each other. They're going to join us in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. What's a goal?
Something you want to be better at.
something you want to be better at. Good. So you're going to come up with your own goals, Molly, for ACT class this year. But this is the important thing. Listen, wildly important goal. It's not just for you. Who are these goals going to be for? I'll give you a good clue. Ethan. Everybody. But guess what? We've had the same conversation with the other ACT classes too. Could it possibly be that these goals are going to be for every ACT class? What do you think? What if every single ACT class agreed that we were going to have the same goals and all year we were going to work really, really hard to follow these goals because they were important to us? Every ACT class had the same goals. And guess what? I'm not going to tell you what those goals are. Guess who gets to pick those goals? Guess who gets to pick those goals, Lincoln? Who's picking those goals? Why do you think I want you to pick those goals? Why do I want you to pick those goals?
So you know what we need to learn?
I'm not picking them. You get to pick them. Why do I want you to pick the goals?
Because if you write it, you can teach us more about it.
If you write it down, you can teach everyone more about it. Why else might I let you pick the goal? I'm not going to tell you what the goal is. Why do I want you to decide what your goals are going to be, Molly?
Because it's like for us.
It's for you. And if you write it down and you say, guess what, Mrs. Q, Mrs. H, and Mrs. W, this is what I think is important. This is the goal that I'm going to do. Are you probably more likely to follow it? What do you think? Do you think that you would follow it? All right. Well, this is your job today. At each table, there's a piece of paper. There's a question at the top of the paper. It is your job to write on your Post-it note what you think the answer to that question is. It's what you think, not what your neighbor thinks, not what the person across from the table thinks. It is what you think the answer is. So let me give you an example. One of the questions on the table is, what do you need to be prepared for ACT class? I see some of you already have an answer. All right, hands down. There's another question that says, what do you expect from your ACT teachers this year? What do you want from us? Ooh, it looks like some people have some good ideas. Okay, so you're going to hop around to each of the tables, and you're going to answer the question on a Post-it. You're only going to use one Post-it. You don't need to write your name on it, but I do want you to write responses that are appropriate. Okay? We don't want to write inappropriate things on the Post-its. Okay? When you're done, I want you to give me a silent signal to show that you are ready to go to the next table. Okay? You think you can handle this job? Do you think you can handle setting your own goals
Yes.
without teacher help?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Now you realize, once you say, these are our goals, that they are now your responsibility. It is now your job to make sure you follow them. Are you ready for that job? That's a big job. Can you handle that job? Show me a signal if you think you can handle that job. I like it. All right, fantastic.